Damiadom, Bibia Boko. Now,
yeah.
So you've not slept. I monitored your news file all over questions, no, from center, left, right. It means that issues are there to be solved, and is it not the case?
Oh, not really, but can I start?
Yes, sir.
Let me start my day with a very simple comment. Minya Jipa, which I'm saying,
and then I can maybe say,
I said, me bomb me Minister Basun. Ask your next question.
I didn't hear.
Look, me joining Minerals Commission 2nd April 2002. Assistant legal officer. My former legal senior, you know, at a point in time, I a board member, deputy CEO, and now CEO. I've seen it all. I'm not a monopoly of wisdom. Tell me, my kada. But there's one thing I need to praise him for. Never in my lifetime have you seen public reaction to a contract that has been entered by government of Ghana, as far as mining is concerned. Wow. New Montua, me on yeah, I'm a young lawyer. 2003. New Montu, yeah. Even Goldfields, Angogo Ashanti, Obuasi Dieno, all these contracts that went to Parliament for ratification. We saw all that. I don't know how old you are, but at least, correct me if I'm wrong. In your lifetime, you can't mine once and all those things. Have you seen any contract being subjected to public scrutiny like this one?
This is maybe the first.
This is the first, not maybe. This is the first. Because me, unless anything before 2002, this is the first. Wow, first, then Parliament, now court ratification, you only get to know of it when maybe a BBC and now Obi Konhu or Baby now or Konya colors, we know the two judge, then people stand, oh, she should cry and farm out. Maybe who be that? But then at least there's something I need to praise also Ghanaians for. Again, this is the first time in the history of Ghana. You know, we are listening to the public, listening to the argument, responding, disagreeing, some agreeing in a way. I mean, it's lovely. And I will say every sector, say, because you see, me, I never saw any minister sign an agreement and then having a brief ceremony and announcing to the public, say, I BBC. It's, you know, so, therefore, I mean, let's we brave ourselves for scrutiny and all those, and let's get ready. I mean, people may disagree or agree with you depending on who is speaking and which aspect and which angle is looking at it. You're ready now. Anybody says anything, let's explain. Wow. So that's what has been going on since October 19th, when I fired the first sabo. Until going forward, I hope that practically all these kinds of contracts, you know, you better be soon. Wow. Yes, I needed two websites, and then we give it out to people. Normal kind and all those things. I see Sami JV has entered. Spending time all kind in the position in Yano. So I was supposed to be here 3 to 3:30, but
they don't come on.
Who the tea? Manuina, no count, Mediman was Michiano, normally, only Okobo and any other person.
Metro.
They come Tazi, Mr. Tazi, and me come Metro to explain to the public. I mean, you man, Juan and Medimano. Why, I'm very happy, sir. In the history of this country, we have allowed public scrutiny. Why, because you see, the resources belong to these good people of this country. Obika Bibikwana only in Yadria. SP, you have the right to explain to him. So, look, I don't agree with you, and I agree with you, and now, baby, you're the ASEMPA, and you know, there are few inaccuracies in his presentation, but me correct you, and yet. Me person me my background kakra or Koti law is no longer good law. Inti me correctino. But then next week we'll delve into that. But I mean that is very lovely. So we share any Ghanaian. Na me gene number and I made man on WhatsApp, and then I send me some extra information. I'm kind of so here BBA on Bisami. And you know, when he was preparing this brief, or Bisami one or two things, so you see a dear way at the sense and I me pay information coming to man. Now we're correcting the brief, but the chair bedroom come. Why? It's 1 or 2 laws be all quote here, no, and yeah, like 3 to 6, no, it doesn't exist. We'll come to that, but. My memory history Accra very important. Why? And then me time as well. I think you have given him time. Then I'll leave. Then I'll continue on this because the more we explain, the more people understand, and then the more people understand also say, look, because some of the things they are saying, we will put it in some additional areas. And we'll talk about all those things. But you need to have time and explain because Charlie, and yeah, private job. Private job crowd church on one nipa 10 ton cocoa or bluff use before you see somebody walk away. So that is it. Kwesi part say massa license, you know, August 2012. August 2012. And Ghana ni apply for reconnaissance license. August 2012. How many years ago? 11, eh? You probably be reconnaissance. Reconnaissance in them now, man, quite say, over 2 fem. Wow, and no, the difference normally the difference between exploration, prospecting and reconnaissance is once a prospecting, you know, you do drilling, you do trenching, you PT, you tuamina, you understand? No, for rocks, but reconnaissance, you know, normally you be survey, Accra, Abia, you fly plane, and now be 1990. And we are about 1 year. Until after 1 year, no better me converting into prospecting. Into the fundamental difference between reconnaissance and prospecting is that one is intrusive, the other one is not intrusive. Intrusive in the sense that ubako two amna, men canusana ordinary Ghanaian trans here. Ubako two amna, you go and trench or be PT. Wow, ube for drill, ignore their chef. Now what drill? Next time, the machines need. With the pictures and videos, but not mature. But fundamental, that is it. And now reconnaissance won't mean no more than 2 years. You be more 1 year. You know, after 1 year, no near some another 1 year. Wow, normally the place is big, so it's kind of an area so and visa. After 1 year, there's all converting into prospecting, and now I'll bet me beside one extension. Into maximum is 2 years. Only few countries do reconnaissance these days. There 6 or so in Africa. Yeah, in South Africa, DRC, Kenya, and 1 or 2 places. So that is it. Into Ghana in the FI, it's originally owned by a Ghanaian, and this is something you can easily find out from what do you call it, Register General or Obi Chobrakwa as right of information. Find out. I can also even mention the Ghanaian's name. Wow, he had the license. It's Ben Nunu Mensah. It's for him. And I'll apply here. In fact, let me say this: about 98% of prospecting licenses in Ghana in the hands of Ghanaians.
In Ghana.
Yes, but then there's a common practice worldwide. When say more license be there are certain things that comes along with it. And some more license, you know, as all the you need to demonstrate 2 things to the Minerals Commission: with financial capacity. Don't worry if we don't finish the lithium. We quite. I mean, people need to understand because you see, as you listen to people, no background information here, history here, Accra, so then conformity as here. I've seen that from the responses. I do agree with some of the things, but we'll talk about that. So nyabote me time so can make on next week me. So let's say we'll say let's say prospecting license and reconnaissance license. Let's say 20 square kilometers in any area in Ghana. You must demonstrate 2 main things. 1, with technical capacity and a financial. Wow. Yeah, or say you're calculating which area now. A minimum sikabi you spend it into you try to bankers to see what's asking now. Wow. And then technical, normally you bring the CVs of your geologists and all those things. Then you submit your FBB work program. A Juma potting Ben or Peso Quaquay. Wow, reconnaissance 1 year, prospecting year, any period up to 3 years. Until once you get 2 months, yeah, recommendation of minister, now I approve amount. Do you understand? Prospecting ni reconnaissance and parliament because the constitution is very clear for exploitation, one castle exploration. So those ones don't go to parliament. Until you the mawa, then the next thing you have to do is that you have to go to the ground and start working. Okay? All right. Now, here's how it works. Oh, yeah, exploration. Every quarter, BSO filing reports on 2 things. What is in a work program? Say, oh, if you have a PT, Met 20, may say, may find sample, say, what they call law about. You have to find the results, and then whether you are spending the money. Okay, that's me answering. Whether you are spending the money or not is very, very important. Very, 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 very important. Okay, very, very, very important. So that's how we monitor. That's how we can tell. Say, the last 2 years or last 3 years, he spent this kind of money. That's how we're able to do it. Into one file report and I remember notice. It's able to make a cancel for non-performance and all those. So these things are very basic. And you know, they later converted into prospecting license in March 2018. And a prospecting, the law says you can be given any period up to 3 years. So your mom 3 years. Then in July 2021, it was renewed again for another 3 years. You can keep renewing based on 2 things. The money you are supposed to spend per your work program, no spending. And then the work program you are carrying out the geological investigation. Those are the fundamental things. Until on prospecting license, no. And the normal circumstances next year, 2024. You understand that? Now normally, who course now here in Switchback, because you see, I want the ordinary man in Rara to understand what prospecting license, what prospecting is, or exploration, or in Switchback. Into your file report, you know. If you're good now, who mineral do be an answer, say, dear man, Charlie Mahiti. Into no, me pese, minya to me, and I'm mamma me crata, ebema me kwa matumako too. So that is when you apply for a mining lease. Do you understand that? But normally, mining no nipa bakun yet. Even the big guys do JV. Remember, I'll bear 2-3 examples. For example, the biggest producer of gold in the world is an American company called Newmont. The second biggest is Barrick, Canadian. The 2 companies have a JV in an area called Nevada in US. It is the biggest gold mining complex in the world. As a no, who do market capitalization, Boma, these 2 companies change GDP. We call Kibale. Kibale is a big gold mine in DRC. Arguably, it's the biggest gold mine. We call Kibalia. It is a JV between Barrick and Anglo Gold Ashanti. Barrick is number 2 in the world. Anglo Gold Ashanti is number 4. Here, number 1 here, Newmont. You're number 4, Anglo Gold Ashanti. You're number 6, Goldfields. And you're number 10, Shandong. Now you used to have number 7, Kinross, but I think they sold to Ashanti Gold. But BNN Chiranoma and they exited. So that's how it works. Now, there were requirements for feasibility. Just get up and submit anything. Requirements were 1. I say, say, medicine, say, engineer, I say, be a math, physics. Say requirements that so, to mean for sociology and now, history and now, anything, those things are very, very important. Okay? Yes. So that's how it works. Then you apply for feasibility straight away. Okay? You just apply for feasibility near the amount. Who apply for feasibility? I have a feasibility team or ministers can review BBR. Into no feasibility. No catch so oh, it be a mahumbe 10 million tons, 10 million ounces of gold. 10 million ounces of gold. And I be a young fan say mahum 1 million. Me percent me mining be 100,000 every year. And they say 100,000 now. 1 million be in 10 years. Wow, hey. Normally feasibility, these are the things that are inside. I hear now grade bank, do no, and he saying, oh, be a met 2 underground. And I met 2 surface near underground. I met 2 surface, do be a make underground. He said Newmont Subika. Wow, environmental impact in here, me funny like barari the almost me funny roughly be 1,000 those good the bibia be shame environmental social abia baby I want to mean here relocation oh baby I want me relocate in say all those things that's what goes into a feasibility very comprehensive but already about 400 pages. Wow, all these things what the man near review you near catch me say oh yes the air who yamfa man into yamfa say 1 million so be 200,000 every year. If you ever be 15 years and not 12 years because I said if count who you are now a reclamation. Wow, in Tibia so between 10 years I bet me 15 and now 10 years I bet me 12 and now 13 maximum I bet me penny 30. Until they can give you any period between 5 to 30. Into how many years I ever more depending they are who and they also be mining every year. Baby sir, wow, even how much you spend to construct the mine. All the best, very comprehensive. That is our realist. Wow, BBR, that's how it is like. Near the amount. We are not EPA. No, we EPA, no ASEMPA, Minerals Commission, near amount operating permit. A check one amount construction permit. So this is the background. Member policy background can and then later on we can discuss some of the responses. But you see, so when I say fire the first salvo, say oh, because minister approve on 19th, and Chebiana, I think the following day or later in the evening, and I meet here Dr. John Kwachi, so you are signing colonial agreement. No cranium, mine said you wow. Obi a comment be na osha otimunsa idea we won kind and our kind. So Ukaipa said my reaction was that they have not read because some of my comments achia I'm not even interested in the merit of what they are saying, but I can see clearly say you have not read. Yeah, so they should go to our website. I much email. So we have agreement in more. That's why I say your website, I sent it to them. Till you, then I put a note there, say, oh, Munya any other information with the Mayanka Ghanaian language. Munya pobia any information that will help your discourse now. Mudia moon trauma the bemam. Because me, I don't refuse information. Yeah, the bemam. I feel so a bed the pass a move a round table now. Moon invite here. Now moon tea. This is what I said in their email. I will fortunately these things are there because my acknowledge thanking you for the email into the hand. So I'll welcome any roundtable near discussion. Wow, they didn't mind us, and one then I think they were feeling shy. So you see, they couldn't admit so mankind, so they went ahead and had the IE. Of course, they are at liberty to invite us or not. You see. But if they are invited us, they will have understood certain things better. And then if they still stick to their grounds or be some invite here. So then they brought the former chief justice to their program and other people what do you call a reaction over it. And then there were a lot of inaccuracies in many of the things they are saying. For example, 294 billion. Now calculate here no. Was asking every year be about 24 billion. Who dear yen check company for 20 billion. Now yen for 4 billion. Then come IMF 3 billion. Say first for some source coffee. And then if you have 1 billion fire, I may ASEMPA fire or half up for 24 billion. Hey, that's what it's more than our total exports. Because from January to August this year, according to the Bank of Ghana, exports are roughly all the receipts. For almost all our receipts was roughly about $11 billion. 43% of that comes from gold. So it means that lithium, this small project, what twice what we got for the first 8 months of this year. Oh yeah, super trap. So they got a calculation of because conversion factor I'm using they use for lithium no brand manufacturers immediately your own lithium that. Wow. Almost use 5 points BB. And they were using this way a lithium. One would be the way a raw lithium and in raw. Wow. And on the statement, or confuse raw ni concentrate. And when our person call outside and now concentrate, but make sure maybe our next meeting. This is lithium raw. Zimbabwe omo yenu galamsey serious one. Wow, weigh 1.2 6 1.24 1.25 but roughly 1.25 into we are the normal for we are good and catale no you even resign there you call breaker for the next session now yeah announce the way free. Wow, so this is raw lithium.
I see. Okay.
Okay, that is it. Military, so man. Okay. So that is it. And into when you person call raw, I mean, how can we crash this and send it raw? And to him, we shouldn't allow this in the 21st century. Zimbabwe, they take it across the border to Mozambique and all those things. So that is it. Into JV there, summary. You probably be farm out. Or no a lawyer you will know. Into no, young fan said, Woody, you approve work program be about $5 million. And because $3 million. There are minimum securities all spending. Into be I approve $3 million amount and $2 million or 600,000 first year and now the first 3 years. I so copies can age man. And yes, I mean compare withdraw the license. So what people do all over the world is to go and look for investors, either Ghanaians or foreigners. But typically all these are now about you back of our Canada and now Australia and now they come in. Into no about can say, oh, me license in it, me need scam me the now. Sometimes Ghana for SARS, you do baby and now Charlie scan because the more work you do, our results in here, no, it's all work more because drilling and different. Tibia na if your property be on the chroma was spending Accra be a parties kana one funding and kono kita bibina or was spending Accra na wako find investors be Canada and now sometimes more mobile no more approach you. Then you say okay, me no be signing farmer agreement. And you know, oh yeah jumano. Then you are end. So there are two ways. Either say this cannot be nipa no licenses near the no be jumano and then you give an interest in it. And no one of them share more side agreement, some of the Minerals Commission near approve. And now set or no be jumano and then what do you call it? NE. So you are farming out and then he is farming in. So that is what the Ghanaian holder of the license went and brought these Australians. Then they came to what? Farming. And you know, almost 20 seconds, almost drilling because they and that over drill rig and over renty, over fast samples, over called geological survey. Now they are called US, Canada. Wow, because that time no more analyze. You have to pay for all those things. You find geologists, technicians, over set up camp, all those into campsite in the owner and office or more mining. Are they what they find? What if I to go and then we are good? We wait me a good. I bet me room to see a young Mercury. But where you can't do it. You see, and you unless you want to say you take it like maybe said you far rock aggregate for building and all those things. So that is how the thing is. You see, so as the Australians were spending money, you know, they were earning it until such a time, because of Inshishia money Ghana, you know, they got 90%, and then Ghana 10%. Utias here. So their 90% was they are based on agreement almost and say look me spending kakra bia then any me spending we are no mas nyawe me spending we are no my way it as I'm spending it's like oh buy no look landlord no aboli some small one room until okay so look me see be 4 wow me see 4 I need until now I extended me rent you know by 2 years. Oh landlord say me family doors so me person me did 2 years count. You know that is very common. Because you took just one room only. One or your boglapu bibia seats some additional 4 rooms. Into no agree say bia busumi bia made you 1,000. Into uboka bia 2 million. No more calculate 3.5 years. Into no rent for 3.5 years. What the American? This after a while now, see you, Charlie. I'm going to now. I want to even buy the house. So that's how mining was, and you're peculiar to Ghana alone. A common practice. Wow. So at the time they were submitting a feasibility, now Ghana need kita 10%, and Atlantic Lithium cut 90%. My own say submitting fee say of a full disclosure. In fact, even if I refuse, he can apply under right of information. Yeah, Jumano is entitled to meet by mano dodo. Okay, I'll give him full disclosure because they say we have signed up into the beneficial program. Who are the real beneficial owners and who are whatever. And I'll employ him, say, at least Uncle Toby. Okay, Uncle Toby. Our parties can Uncle Toby so that Obenya scam no money, a lot of money for campaign. Earlier the better. But for another thing, so that's how it works. Do you understand? And you know, original license owner, Ghana ni, my body didn't that. And then these Australians came in from Iron Ridge. Later, they changed their name to what do you call Atlantic Lithium. Into the Barra DV, you know, it's a Ghanaian company. The owner of Ghana no dear. Yeah, original. Tell me, 2012. That's when the license was granted. 2012. And then they kept renewing, keep working. Into Atlantic Lithium, near parent company, they are listed in Australia, and then they are also listed on the alternative investment market in London. And some be listed. Brasa, say, oh yeah, my timelines. But you see, so they are almost done. How many sec? Yeah, control listing, Security and Exchange Commission. So that's my response to him, respectfully. And a Ghana Stock Exchange. You know, and then MIF. Because you have to look at your books for Webia and all those things. That is it. So if you say, oh, yeah, mom said 2 months almost listening, it may not work because ABR, essence of documentation, request for further particulars and all. Some of the things, you know, they may be right, but you don't have to necessarily put in agreement because within 6 months of signing agreement list. How? It's not possible. Wow. Some of the things that we will ask them to do, no, you catch them someone yet. So that is it. So listen to the paper song, but we couldn't have respectfully brands. I mean, we couldn't have put in say within 3 months because stock exchange rules are different. Almost beside so many for Webra, for particulars Webra, Fabra. So the reason why we've not been able to put a specific well-defined timeline in the agreement for the mandatory listing, you know, say, you have to follow the stock exchange. So you cannot tie the hands of the stock exchange and the Ghana Security Exchange. But before that, we have done a lot. So that's my response to that legitimate question. That is it. We couldn't have said within 1 year list or within 6 months. But listen, I think that was the most important thing. Then two, Unim, you call President he says, and that also answers one of the questions. I mean, so Martin, I deal with me person meet here because of him number. Me and media agreement in man on WhatsApp. Because so this is actually the issue. Now, Ebia, mama no more upon any response. Now, a conk. Wow, conk. Or see you foreigners bet me about. You call president. That was the first question. President Bisa Ayisi say, "Mo mandatory list, you know." Obi be free Europe and Australians now ba beto di dia. What dey one list anka say enti no list na ye ba be no restricted to Ghanaians. Wow. Restricted enti ye target e bia SS need mo pension funds, hedge funds. Now obi ti say ono awuska. Wow. Obi say ono awuska and all those things. That is it. Enti time no do Uncle Toby. Whatever the case, Uncle Toby. So that is the issue. He made a statement. Says Sadia sometimes then Sammy we have to give up in life. He or can they say foreigners will come and buy, and I'm saying that's not the case. It's now being restricted. That's what I'm saying. You see, Charlie, I don't know at least at least that part no a year free upon him. Then he also says something. I don't know what he thinks or say. What about foreigners buying through the back door? Say, let's say, or no, Sammy, so a Ghana, maybe okay, 1 million Ghana cedis beer. Now, maybe any dear now, but man. Well, we'll have to, you know, the stock rules, they will have to determine that. Wow, Ghana Stock Exchange, Security and Exchange Commission, they have to find a way to make sure say fronting will not happen. But the other bit, say, oh, for instance, Babeton, no, that is taken care of. In Tonya Crado. So at least these two, my answer no. Then two of the issues, I thought, sir, it is not really an attack or a criticism on the agreement. Because okay, and I also read it. I think one of his friends also sent it to me. They are rather forward-looking, and Omahini, Mekadebia, and I'm sure he has been listening to me. Or see, it's high time. You have a Pescama Geological Survey.
That's what you've been saying.
Now, Omonia prospect in your data. Okay. I deal with me soft. Later, now I can for more information. Omahini. Sobe Kaya, small scale. What have I been saying? Me say yes, 30 year 1989, small scale gold law. 5 regions: Asante, Eastern, Central, Western, and then Upper East. Boga near be office or then since then, no, your first CEO Kofi Ansa, a 1 year meter, almost Obia say, Otale Mui, Cabinian Farmer Geological Souvenir, Shishim. Almost all those areas Minas Commission are designated. That time, you see, in the late 80s, 90s, and all those, we can't say we are professors. There are not governments for no they don't understand because one, Guinea worm school are dying versus this. That time I was a young lad, Minko. You can see, I didn't see a 5% chance of success and say, wow, look, me mouse cut 5 million. Then again school. So that time a lot of people were not understanding. I mean, it didn't make sense to the governments, various governments at that time. Nyatra 34 years because 89. Then you are moving from 5 regions to now 13 regions. I can't make moti vote and get a crap. Wow. Now from 50 to 100,000, now you have about 3 million livelihoods involved. I don't know his village or Bomi and Metchmatch whether small scale is going on or not. That is it. And you know, this issue of geological investigation, you can't fortunately as within the last 2 years, into Bonfa block and many of the blocks, Newtown, Newtown, baby or Western regions, is a investigation. Budget, we call budget here, ministry. I was there myself, a share parliamentary committee. And I was very happy, sir. Many of the NDC MPs were asking me, "More discussion man now for geological investigation." You know, I'm happy. Say we are forward looking, so it shows say whichever government will come in future, now has accepted. Say geological investigation. Yeah, so that means it is an admission by Sami Jenfi that if we have been doing geological investigation or pumping money into geological investigation, you know, geological survey is 107 years. Started by the British. If we have been pumping money into geological survey, Anka, we know of these occurrences here. Yeah, well, we knew. Well, your minerals we know of occurrences, but and yet proper data, call market. There be. Well, it's not anything I old friend or for someone for tender. Anybody will mind you. There be. So I'm happy that it is an. So you see, it basically answers one of the stance of the government or the commission. So your geological data anchor will have gone the tender way. You see, so that is forward looking. I'm quite.
And also my numbers also purely education. So we now from Boko.
Okay.
Obrena yebre. One also brena yedidiakum. In Jabia Obreka Krabia the Bessos also abstated the position of the party NDC. Then we'll piece the two together. Now for your baby and name as of mine on this matter of lithium. And maybe 1 or 2 beer Vabesos.
Oh, 1 or 2. And then me in your time and go into a lithium discussion. But my own says I made Jimfia Baha. So he's coming to discuss it. We said Anka met transit.
Yeah.
Now like Oboswa, then I can explain some of the things. Rather than make up.
But also that will be good.
mekona ebia next week na masamba. Then I'll come and contact because already no one say my church mukakra because any time no this is
I said that will be good.
Oh, that's fine. To boss one now my church
okay.
Where I have to agree with him, I agree because it's about Ghana and me Martinez.
Okay, so let's